Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the walk. Today is Tuesday, July 8th, and we are up to Hebrews chapter 7, verse 5, and we're going to go through 5 and 10. That's a lot of verses today, but there's a new subtitle that I want to get to for tomorrow. So verse 5 says, "And those descendants of Levi who received the priestly office have a commandment in the law to take tithes from the people, that is, from their brothers, though these also are descended from Abraham. But this man, who does not have his descent from them, received tithes from Abraham and blessed him who had the promises." So there's an interesting thing going on here. You got Melchizedek. Melchizedek is not descended from Abraham, and Abraham is giving him his tithes. And along with that, the descendants of Levi, they were all priests. It was okay to give your tithes to them. But it makes Melchizedek special because he's not descended from Abraham. So we're to understand that that's an important thing. The commandment in the law is there to give the tithes. And you've got like these two different categories of priests. You've got the order of Melchizedek and you've got the order of the Levites. This chapter is going to bring you a comparison of both all the way through. Levites are descended from Abraham. The Melchizedek order is either not descended from Abraham at all, but later we will see that Jesus is descended from the tribe of Judah. It's a very different situation. That family lineage is extremely important within these priestly lines. In the Cultural Study Bible, it said this for verses 7 through 10. "The priesthood, like Melchizedek's, is greater than the Levitical priesthood for at least two reasons. First, whereas the Levites die, the one with the priesthood like Melchizedek will hold his office forever." So when you're a priest in that Melchizedek order, your office holds forever. It does not end. Think about how eternal Jesus is. He does not end. There's no beginning, there's no end. For the Levitical priestly line, they died. Second, Melchizedek is greater than Abraham and thus greater than Levi, since Abraham is greater than Levi, who depended on him for existence. So we'll see that in verses 9 through 10. Seeking to get around this argument, later rabbis said that God withdrew the priesthood from Melchizedek and gave it to Abraham. But Psalm 110, verse 4, clearly refers to the ultimate priest king who would rule over the nations, not to Abraham. So that brings us to verse 7. "It is beyond dispute that the inferior is blessed by the superior." In this case, the Levitical line, the Levitical priests are being blessed by Melchizedek. Abraham is being blessed by Melchizedek. This is establishing the fact that the order of Melchizedek is a greater priestly line than Levi. Verse 8, "In the one case, tithes are received by mortal man, but in the other case, by one of whom it is testified that he lives. One might say that Levi himself, who received tithes, paid tithes through Abraham, for he was still in the loins of his ancestor when Melchizedek met him." Okay, let's break this down. The easiest part to break down is this: still in the loins of his ancestor when Melchizedek met him. Levi had not been born yet when Abraham met Melchizedek. That's why still in the loins. Okay. Then we back up and we've got this one case that the tithes are being given to mortal men. Those tithes are going to the priests within the Levitical line. But in the other case, tithes are being given to one who lives and lives eternally. One might say that Levi himself who received the tithes, so Levi would take the tithes and then give the tithes to Abraham, because Abraham was the leader. Abraham was the protector of that group. Abraham was the one that took care of everybody. Abraham was greater than Levi. So you got Levi, you got Abraham, and then you got Melchizedek way, way, way above all of them. It's important that we understand all this and we have all this background, because tomorrow we're going to talk about how Jesus is compared to Melchizedek. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.